Hey everyone, let me be straight with you. This video could cost you your entire portfolio, or it could save it. We've all gotten used to living in crypto like it's the Wild West. Want to launch a token? Go ahead. Want to pump it? Sure. Want to promise 100x returns and then disappear to the Bahamas? Why not? But the party is over. Right now in the US, they are pushing through something that changes everything, the Clarity Act. And this isn't just some boring piece of paper, it's a filter. Imagine a giant sieve. A huge iron sieve. They take the entire coin market cap top 100 and dump it in. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Ripple, meme coins, exchange tokens. And then the Clarity Act starts shaking that sieve. Those that fall through the bottom get commodity status, access to banks, pension funds, and a permanent ticket to the moon. Those that stay stuck in the sieve get labeled securities. And that means delisting from exchanges, lawsuits, fines, and most likely the death of the project. Today, we aren't going to read boring laws. We are going to take the top 100 list and run it through this filter. Right now, who survives? Bitcoin, obviously. But what about Solana? What about Cardano? What happens to BNB or the token of your favorite exchange? Will even a single stablecoin survive? Sit back, grab some tea. We are starting the Purge. Part 1. The rules of the game. To understand who dies, you have to understand how they kill. Look, here is the genius and simplicity of the Clarity Act. Until now, Gensler at the SEC said, everything except Bitcoin is a security. Why? Because you buy it for profit. The Clarity Act says, stop guys, let's separate the flies from the burgers. There is an investment contract, that's when you give money to a startup team so they can build a rocket. And there is the asset, that is the rocket itself, or the fuel for it. Here's a simple example. I sell you an orange grove. I say, give me money, I'll take care of the trees, and we'll split the profit. That is a security, an investment. But when an orange grows on that tree and you go to sell it at the market, that orange is not a security, it's just a fruit, a commodity. Get the logic? The Clarity Act introduces the concept of a digital commodity. To get into this elite league, a coin has to prove just one thing: decentralization. Decentralization. If the network lives on its own, if there is no boss who can turn it off, and if no single organization owns a controlling stake, usually they say 20%, congratulations, you are a commodity. You are safe. Now let's go down the list. Who here is an orange, and who is a stock? Part 2. The green zone, the immortals. Let's start with those who can sleep soundly. These are the sacred cows of decentralization. Bitcoin. There is nothing to discuss here. Satoshi disappeared. No office, no team, no foundation. Bitcoin is digital gold, an absolute commodity. If the Clarity Act protects anyone first, it's Bitcoin, the old guard, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin, Ethereum Classic. You can laugh at Dogecoin. You can think Litecoin is boring, but they have a superpower: fair launch. Nobody sold them to investors in private rounds. They just started mining. These are pure commodities. The regulator has no one to handcuff, no one to fine. So, if you are a conservative, this junk, in a good way, will survive any law. Caspa and Monero. Same here. Caspa is POAW, fair launch. Green light, Monero. Well, Monero might get banned for other reasons, privacy. But classifying it as a security is impossible. There is no issuer. Ethereum. There was a lot of debate about Ether. But Vitalik exists. There is a foundation. There was a pre-mine, yes. But the SEC has de facto surrendered by approving the ETF. The network is so huge that Vitalik could go live in a monastery and Ethereum would keep working. By Clarity Act criteria, Ether has outgrown the startup phase and become digital oil. It passes. Part 3. The battle for survival who squeezes through. Now for the most interesting part. The top 20, where your money is. Things aren't so black and white here. Solana? Solana is a sore subject. On one hand, the network is powerful, decentralization is growing. On the other, a huge portion of tokens was sold to venture capital funds before launch, plus the FTX history. But the Solana Foundation is doing everything to dilute its share. Verdict: most likely, it passes. The industry is too big to kill Solana, but they will fray some nerves. Cardano, ADA. Charles Hoskinson specifically built Cardano so that legally you couldn't dig up dirt on it. They have 3 different organizations managing the network. The ICO was held in Japan, outside US jurisdiction at the time. Verdict: it passes. This is one of the most legally prepared projects. XRP, Ripple, the king of courtrooms. The court has already ruled that XRP on exchanges is not a security. The Clarity Act will just put a bold stamp on that. For XRP, this law is fuel. Banks are waiting for exactly this clarity. As soon as the law is signed, XRP becomes the first legal tool for cross-border payments in the US. Verdict: ironclad pass. Hedera, HBAR. They have an interesting case. The network is governed by a council. Google, IBM, Boeing. Is that centralization? Seems like it. But there are many of them, and they are different. The law has loopholes for such structures. Most likely, they will be recognized as something like an enterprise utility token. Verdict: probably yes, but there will be questions. Near, Polkadot, Avalanche, Algorand. They are all in the same boat as Solana. Technically, they are commodities, gas for the network. Legally, funds still hold a lot of coins. They will be given a transition period. The law provides time to prove decentralization. Whoever manages to burn the admin keys and distribute tokens survives. Part 4. The kill list. And now who should be worried? If you have all in on these coins, listen carefully. Exchange tokens. BNB, OKB, KCS, MX, GT. Guys, let's be honest. What is BNB? It is stock in the Binance exchange. The exchange makes money, burns BNB, price goes up, you get discounts, you participate in launchpads. This is a classic security. There isn't even anything to argue about. There is one issuer, the exchange. There is an expectation of profit from the exchange's efforts. What will happen? In the US, they will be banned completely. For the rest of the world, fine. But if BNB is declared a security in America, it gets delisted from Coinbase, Kraken, and all regulated platforms. The price could collapse. Exception: Unu sed leo. Bitfinex. The buyback is written directly in text there. That is definitely a security. New gen VC chains, SUI, Aptos, they have a problem. They are too young. Their investor unlocks haven't even finished yet. 50% of tokens are with the team and funds. That is not decentralization. That is a corporation. The Clarity Act might force them to register as securities, and that means no trading on normal crypto exchanges for Americans, only for accredited investors. Liquidity could leave. WorldCoin, WLD, biometric data collection. One company in charge, Sam Altman, distributing tokens for eyeballs. Regulators hate this project. It has almost zero chance of passing the commodity test. It is a centralized dystopia in the eyes of the SEC. Old DeFi aristocracy with dividends, MKR, SNX, UNI, debatable. If a token gives a right to a share of protocol profits, real revenue share, that is a sign of a stock. Uniswap Uni specifically turned on the fee switch very carefully to avoid getting hit. But those who explicitly say, hold the token, get income from exchange fees, will be in the crosshairs. Part 5. The final boss stablecoins. Did you think we forgot about USDT and USDC? No. Along with the Clarity Act comes a package of laws on stablecoins. And here it is harsh. Algorithmic stables, outlawed. Remember Terra Luna? UST. US authorities do not want a repeat. Stablecoins like USD, Ethena, or DAI, old school, will be under a microscope. USDT, Tether, they have eternal problems with reserve transparency. The US pressures them but can't kill them, because the whole market rests on them. USDC, they will be the first to run for a license. They want to be the digital US dollar. Verdict. Stables won't disappear, but they will be divided into white, with a bank license, and gray, offshore, like USDT, which will be banned for use in the US. What should a normal person do? So, to summarize, the Clarity Act is not the end of the world. It is growing up. Yes, the era of wild 100x on scams is being strangled. But in exchange, we get an era where a US pension fund can officially buy Solana or Ethereum. And that is trillions of dollars. Your action plan. Check your portfolio. If 80% is exchange tokens, new VC projects, or sketchy DAOs promising passive income, you are in the risk zone. Bet on commodities. BTC, ETH, LTC, Doge, possibly Sol and ADA. This is the base the law will protect. Watch the news. As soon as the law is signed, the first 510 coins that get official digital commodity status will fly to the moon, because that will be a stamp of quality. State approved. The market is changing. Either you adapt and understand the rules of the game, or you are left with a bag of wrappers that got delisted from every exchange. The choice is yours. Like, subscribe. Write in the comments. Which altcoin in your portfolio will definitely survive? Let's debate. Peace.